Hello.
Hello girlies, my name is Dubs and welcome to Alo. And because I really want to make this a tradition, the drinks of the day are a vitamin C from Benefiber and coconut water from Costco. So if you don't have a little drinky to drink, you better go get one because you know we are drink girlies in this podcast, okay? We need a drink for energy, one for funsies, and one just to keep warm. So go get your drink, girl. The topic of the day is the power of saying no and setting boundaries. Trust me, if you are a girl or a guy, I guess, that has social anxiety and genuinely feels, and you're a people pleaser and you feel like a little bit guilt inside of you by saying no or by saying, hey, honestly, this is my boundary. Trust me, I understand you. I am quite literally that person, and I've been for the past couple of years. Before, I feel like I didn't really used to mind when I was a teenager, but lately, like in my adulthood, I feel like I've been really struggling with saying no or just with setting boundaries, period, regardless of what they are. So it's okay, we're here to talk through it. And just so you get an idea of what the podcast is about, we will touch on, deeper topics that are going to help you, I guess, become a better person, but also talk about just fun little stories that have made me understand this topic so that maybe you touch bottom with it and that you, through my stories, you can understand them. And if you are not yet following me and the podcast, you can follow on every platform as It's a Law Podcast and me as Dubs. And you can DM me, you can send me voice notes and tell me a little banter of what you're going through. If the podcast has been working for you, just talk to me, because at the end of the day, I want to create a community with you, with the people around us, and that's what the podcast is for. Okay, but first of all, we really need to define what a boundary is, because I feel like this concept was kind of new to me, and it became new to me not that long ago, and I'm talking maybe 2 years ago. A boundary is just a limit, okay, that you set with any relationship. And this boundary can be time-wise, physical, emotional. A boundary is any limit that you set with other people, okay? And I think there's this just huge belief that boundaries are selfish, and it's nothing further from the truth, okay? Because the way I view boundaries is as if you're putting an oxygen mask on yourself before putting it on someone else, okay? Like when you're on a plane and they tell you, help yourself before helping others, to me, that's what boundaries are. If you are not comfortable with the boundaries that you have surrounded yourself with, then you're generally going to be drowning at all times. Now, you might be also wondering, okay, when am I supposed to set a boundary? To be honest, this is very personal to yourself. If you can think back to a moment where you felt uncomfortable in a relationship, call it a friendship, call it a work relationship or a romantic relationship. Let's say you had a boyfriend and that boyfriend wanted to spend the night, and truly you kind of didn't want to, but you were like, I mean, damn, okay, I guess you can come spend the night. And then he comes, spends the night, and then the next morning is a mess, and you don't like it there, it smells like a man, whatever it is. You probably didn't send that boundary of, hey, actually, I don't really like sleepovers, I would rather if we didn't. And that's probably why it happened, because you hadn't set that boundary. So boundaries are incredibly specific to yourself, and there's no average, there's no rule, it's whatever works for you, kind of. I think we also need to speak about the perks of boundaries and what makes them really good and really healthy for you and others. Just overall, it makes your relationships a lot more enjoyable, okay? If people are kind of like incongruent with where you're at, and I'm gonna say it again, this applies to any kind of relationship, then it's going to be easy for them to understand you and for you to be around these people. So that is the main benefit of it. I know that before I was setting boundaries, I was a mess with the level of anxiety that I had regarding everything, okay? I used to have girlfriends that would text me at 9 p.m., hey, you want to go out for dinner right now? And in my head, I'm like, girl, what do you mean dinner? I'm like getting ready to go to bed. But I used to say, yeah, of course, I'll be there in 15 minutes, just because I couldn't deal with the anxiety of saying no. Mind you, these girls didn't know that I was, a homebody, and I really like going to bed early and just being at my home. So how could I have expected them to know where I was comfortable at if I didn't voice it, just because of the fear of making them feel a type of way. So that's the benefit of a boundary. Your relationships are going to become better and your stress levels are going to become lower as you develop these boundaries. And you might be wondering, how do I successfully, make these limits in relationships without making it uncomfortable? Now, this is kind of like a trial and error type of thing, because you're really going to have to cater what you're saying to the person that you're saying it to, because there's people that are incredibly sensitive and will take everything to heart, and there's people that are going to be like, oh, okay, got it, no matter, like, don't worry about it. So it's kind of generally just trial and error and knowing your friends and knowing the people around you. Now, I have a story that I want to tell you about a time where I feel like I had set the boundaries and they just weren't respected, that actually led to the downfall of a friendship. I have been living in my building, and there's these two girls that also live in my building. God damn, this is going to give it away right away. Jesus Christ. We're going to call them Kelly and Alice, okay? And these two girls I thought were going to be my bridesmaids at my wedding. I thought we were going to be best friends for actual ever. And here's a little story time. They did a couple things that I wasn't so happy with, but at the time, I literally didn't have any other friends. So I think it just made it really easy for me to be like, it's okay, I'll just suck it up. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And I just kept sticking with them regardless of what they were doing to me, because I didn't really have that many choices. And I think at the time, I rather be with okay company than being alone. I generally didn't want to be alone. And although there's plenty of stories with these girls, I'm just going to talk about this one specific moment where I felt like my boundary was just breached, and this is literally what took us to the downfall of the entire relationship. We had been trying to make a book club happen for a long time. Now, Kelly and I really liked the same kind of books, and Alice didn't. Alice liked personal growth and self-development and whatever else, and Kelly and I really like fantasy books. So this specific month we were reading a fantasy book. It was the first month of the book club, and I think we had agreed to meet at a bar. Now, I'm generally like an early bird, and not necessarily because I go to bed early, but because I like to be home early, because I want to do my skincare and I want to read my book and just relax, and it takes me a long time to relax. So I had told these girls, hey, I'm happy to meet at a bar if you guys want to meet at a bar, but let's meet there at 6 p.m. because I want to be home by 9. Now, mind you, we all lived in the same building, okay? It was kind of like a sorority house kind of vibes. So we all lived in the same building, so I kept telling them like, hey, cool with going out. Honestly, so happy. Let's do it at 6 p.m. Now, mind you, at this point, we had scheduled this for a Friday, but Alice had already rescheduled twice because she was going out, I don't know if on a date or something, or like, the thing is that she had rescheduled. Now, mind you, I'm incredibly mindful of my time and of other people's times. Like, I don't really like rescheduling. I don't really like moving things an hour past, 2 hour past, because if people plan ahead for this event, then I want to be mindful of it. Now, Alice had rescheduled twice. So this Friday was, already had been moved. And I said, hey, cool, I can do it on Friday, but let's just be out of the apartment by 6 p.m. Both of them agreed, and both of them said, yeah, cool, we'll be heading out at 6, don't worry about it. I want to say maybe 5:30 came by, and I sent a text through the group chat and said, hey girls, I know it's early, but I'm ready. Just let me know whenever you guys are ready so I can go get you. Because I was usually the designated driver because I don't drink, so I was just ready to, go whenever. Kelly sends a text, hey, I'm actually heading to the gym right now, but don't worry, it'll be quick. Immediately as I saw that message, I said, girl, shut the front door. If you're leaving the house at 5:45, you're not going to be back by 6. Like, you're going to be getting to the gym by 6, and then you're going to be there till 6:30, and then while you get back, shower, whatever else, it's going to be 8 p.m. I saw the text and told myself, don't worry about it, take it a little light, literally do anything else. They're always a little late. You knew this was going to happen. Chill in the meantime. 6 come by. I sent another text. Hey, what's up? Are you getting ready? Kelly sends a text. Oh, I'm heading back from the gym right now. Or like, I think like I just got to the gym. Regardless, this went on and on for hours, okay? And I want to say maybe like at 7:30 p.m. one of them texts like, "Hey," it was Kelly, like, I'm showering right now, but I swear to God it's gonna be so quick. Like, don't worry about it." At this point, I'm like not even responding to the messages. Like, I'm seeing them, but I'm not responding. Mind you, I think this would have been the point for me to say, "Hey, like, cool. I don't think I want to go anymore, but like chill, you know, like if you guys want to go, cool, and don't rush to shower." Because at that point, I genuinely didn't want to go anymore. Because at that point, I was thinking, oh my gosh, how did I tell these girls that I wanted to leave by 6 and it's 7:30, 7:45, and they're showering? I've been ready since 5:30. I should have just set my boundary and said, I'm walking out, I'm not doing this. Anyways, 7:45 comes by, they're still getting ready. 8 comes by, they're still getting ready. And they text me, "Hey, just come upstairs, you know, like start getting ready with us." And I said, I've been ready. Like, I don't have to get ready. I've been ready. These girls text me at like 8:45. "Okay, we're ready. We're coming to get you." They were downstairs on my door at like, let's say 9 p.m. Maybe 8:50, maybe 9 p.m. Now, mind you, as I said, I truly hate confrontation. I become so uncomfortable. I don't like raising my voice. I just overall don't like confrontation. So in my head, what I do is I'll just distance myself until I can cool down and I'm not, you know, like heated and in the moment and just upset, and then I'll talk. So they were knocking on my door and I yell. Girls generally just like, oh, because I think I had just texted them. I had just texted them like, "Hey," when they told me like, "Oh, we're ready." I was like, "Hey, girls, to be honest, like, please don't come. Like, I'm not feeling like it anymore. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. This is the time that I wanted to be back by. I'm not going to go. So don't bother." They come 2 minutes later and they're knocking on my door like, "Hey, we're here. Let's go. Come on. Like, don't be boring. Like, let's go." And I yell, "I'm generally not going to open the door. You guys can go." They're like, they keep yelling like, "Wow, you're not even gonna open the door, just open the door." And I text them, "I don't want to say anything rude, please just leave." To be honest, did I handle it poorly? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, even now, like, in my head, I handle it as best as I could have handled it. Because I know if I had opened that door, I would have blown up and I would have just regretted my words because I don't like speaking when I'm angry. They left. I don't know if they went or if they didn't go. As I said, this was on a Friday night. Saturday goes by. We don't talk to, like, no one texts on the group chat. Now, mind you, we used to speak so often. Like, it was like a day did not go by without us texting on the group chat. I think I sent something on Saturday and they didn't say anything. And I didn't think too much of it. And then Sunday comes by and I sent a text like, "Hey girls, I made arepas," which is, you know, like a traditional dish in my country. "I made arepas if you guys want to come over to have dinner together, like slay." And Alice sends a text, like long ass text. I have the text. Oh my gosh, I haven't read this since then. This was in May 2023. Jesus Christ, almost 2 years ago. That's insane. Okay, so Alice said, "Thank you. I'm cooking dinner for the week right now. To be honest, it's really nice that you made dinner for us, but a bit confusing because the other day you wouldn't open the door and were being really short with us. I get that you didn't want to come, but you really shut us out even though you were texting on the group chat and we haven't heard from you since." And Kelly says, "That's really sweet, Inge, but we just made dinner for the evening." Also, I second what Alice said. "I don't want to make a whole thing over text to the group chat because that's dramatic as fuck. But I think we just need another squad get together to talk it out. Do you guys want to get together in a little bit?" And I said, "Yep, whose apartment? Just let me know." Anyways, they come to my apartment. We talk about it. Now, mind you, in this conversation, Kelly was kind of willing and looking to resolve the issue and just trying to meet in a point in between. But Alice was trying to... Honestly, I don't even know what she was trying to do. She was just shooting darts at anything and everything that was not related to the problem. And, of course, at me. And what I mean by this is like, you know, Kelly would try to say, "Okay, well, that wasn't nice what you did. Like, you shutting us out wasn't nice." And then Alice would say something like, "Yeah, because the way you treat men is also not nice." And I'm like, but beg your pardon, excuse me. And what she meant was because at the time I was kind of talking to this guy, and to be honest, I just have princess treatment expectations. If a guy is not treating me like a princess at all times, I genuinely just don't want it. And in my head, it's like, listen, and that's my boundary. That's my boundary with men. I can treat myself like a princess. Why wouldn't you treat me like a princess? Like, if you're not adding to my life, then why are you even here? So that's my boundary with that. And she obviously didn't like it. Regardless, she just kept shooting things that were just not regarding anything that we were, trying to address. And at that point in time, I said, I'm willing to let this friendship go. This girl has obviously some feelings that I didn't know she had towards me. Obviously not the good kind. She, animosity, jealousy, call it whatever you want. I have no idea. But in that moment, I said, yeah, I don't think this is someone I want to have around. And to be honest, I did see that friendship drifting off over time because we just weren't the same kind of people. Like, they liked doing things that I didn't like. They drank a lot, they smoked. I don't do either. They wanted to go out and party, and I'm generally not that person. So I think just personality wise, it just was not going to work at the end of the day. And the whole point of this chit chat is to make you realize that if I had addressed things differently and I had established my boundaries earlier on, things would have probably turned out differently. Although, to be honest, I don't think I would have wanted them to turn differently because it's not a friendship that I was too concerned into keeping. If at 7:30 I had said, hey, actually, I don't want to go anymore. We're way too delayed. I'm just going to go to bed. What were they going to say? They weren't going to be ready in 15 minutes, right? They could have said, hey, we'll be ready in 15, or hey, cool, go to bed. We'll do it another time. But because I didn't say that, and what I did instead was I kept checking in. Are you guys ready? Are you guys almost ready? Are we leaving soon? What's happening? I didn't stick to my boundary, which was to leave at 6 p.m. Therefore, because I didn't stick to it, I generated all of this anxiety and all this tension on myself and the others, because the expectations were simply different. But if I had stick to it and said, goodbye, I'm going to bed, not making it anymore, this is not what I agreed to, that's it. Like, you made it clear, there's no expectations, no one's feelings get hurt, that's it. And I'm going to repeat it. I'm not necessarily upset with the outcome of this situation because, things had to come to light, and I'm happy they did. But if you're dealing with this at work, in a relationship, in a friendship, like, you wouldn't want it to get to that boiling point with all this tension and then have it just fall apart. Now, having said all of this, how do you deal with pushback? Because guess what? Not everyone is just going to agree with your boundaries, and that is normal. It's to be expected. But I just want to have you mentally prepare as to what to do when this happens. First of all, take a deep breath. I know confrontation can lead to anxiety, but take a deep breath, and all you gotta do is stick to your guns. And by this I mean, if you say, hey, we can go to dinner, but I can only stay until 9 p.m. And they tell you no. Once you're there, they're like, girl, we're having so much fun. It's 8:30. Like, we're having so much fun. You don't have to leave. Just stay till 11. It's all right. And you say, no, as I said, I just want to stay till 9, but I'm going to head home. Oh my gosh, you're so boring. Why are you always this way? You can literally just say, yeah, I'm just trying to maintain my peace and get some beauty rest, but I'll see you another time. Just text me whenever you want to hang out. And you book it. And that's it. Just try to take it light. Don't stress too much about it. You can overthink it later, but in the moment, literally stick to what you want. And if other people don't get it, that's their problem. You are not in charge of handling other people's feelings. You're in charge of handling yours. And if that boundary feels good to you, that's all you gotta care about. Now, girlies, just to wrap this up, it's okay to have boundaries. It's healthy. Once you prioritize yourself, your stress levels are going to go down and your relationships with others are going to get healthier. And I would love to hear your boundaries. What boundaries have you set in place? What boundaries do you want to set in place? What boundaries have people not respected and has actually made you feel really, really uncomfortable? Tell me all about it. I want to hear absolutely everything. Now, with that said, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for giving me your time and listening to my stories. Trust me, there's more to come. I hope you're getting something out of this podcast, or at least having funsies with it. And don't forget to follow me on all social platforms as @itsalopodcast or @ingelerdubs. Besitos.